Well, it's finally out. The follow-up to the very much loved and hated fragrance to Sauvage is out. It's the Sauvage Eau De Parfum from Dior. What do I think about this one? We're going to review it. Plus, you'll have a chance at winning one of two 3 ml samples coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time on this channel and or you've been watching videos here and still haven't subscribed, please click that subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. And please make sure you do click that notification button so that you don't miss out on the announcements for the giveaways. And yes, it's been 2.5 years since the launch of Dior Sauvage. It came out in fall of 2015. Now we're in almost spring of 2018, and Eau De Parfum version of Sauvage was announced a month or so ago, and it's finally out. It took a while for me to get this one. It was supposed to be exclusive to Nordstrom's, according to Nordstrom's, that's what I was told, but they hadn't received it yet. And I was communicating with someone there. My normal associate or like sales associate that I go to has been off for a long time, health reasons, I guess. But I'm trying to, I make friends with sales associates so that they tell you when they're coming with a release or a new release, or, you're anticipating a release, they kind of, help you buy it in advance and things like that. So no word from Nordstrom, but my associate, a contact at Saks, called me at Dior and she said, you know what, we've got it. And I'm like, no, Nordstrom's supposed to have an exclusive for a month. And nope, we have it. So I went and picked it up and I've been wearing it. And I'm going to tell you all about this little monster right here. So this is Dior Sauvage Eau De Parfum. This is an Eau De Parfum version of the original Dior Sauvage. Yes, I do have a bottle still. This is the big bottle that I had bought quite a long time ago. I do wear it occasionally to the gym, but it's overpowering a little bit to me. But Eau De Parfum versus Eau De Toilette. This is like a 2018 launch. It's created by Francois Demachy, who created the original Eau De Toilette version of Dior Sauvage. Francois Demachy is the in-house perfumer at Dior, if you don't know who the guy is. So 100 ml like this in EDP costs $115. So the pricing is a little higher than the Eau De Toilette. And the reason is Eau De Toilette has less perfume oil compared to Eau De Parfum. So it's more concentrated with perfume oil, and that means it's going to be higher priced. And for notes here in Dior Sauvage, you've got bergamot, lavender, Sichuan pepper, star anise, nutmeg, ambroxan, and Papua vanilla. Papua vanilla is a vanilla from Papua New Guinea, the island country. And I'll tell you a little bit about the differences here. I find the original Sauvage to be a little too much. As far as the scent goes, I find it to be very minimalistic, almost similar to something like the Eccentric Molecules fragrances, perhaps even slightly very close to the Eccentric 2 or Molecule 2, because Molecule 2 uses ambroxan. And Sauvage and Sauvage Eau De Parfum both use a big dose of ambroxan. So ambroxan is a synthetic molecule that supposedly smells like Ambergris, and Ambergris is the stuff they used to use. Well, if they still use it, I've been using a lot more ambroxan. It's become really popular, but it's basically what Ambergris is whale poop. So now they have a synthetic version, but the way that ambroxan or ambergris is supposed to be kind of almost like aquatic. So there are definitely aquatic touches between these two fragrances, but this one actually, I find it really overwhelming. Like, it's really big. And the way both of these bottles spray is it does not a pointed spray, it's this cloud spray, and it just kind of, it's like almost like chokingly strong. So that's what my issue with Sauvage was, plus the fact that it's very minimalistic. Like, you hardly can smell like, any of the citruses and the woody notes. It's just really just ambroxan pretty much. But with the Eau De Parfum version of Sauvage, we've got a little interesting things happening here. Not a lot, just a little, which kind of makes this one the more elegant version of the loud Sauvage here. So here, upon initial spray, you got a big blast of star anise. So there is that little licoricey touch to it. But, I didn't find that listed on Dior's website as a note. I did look up Fragrantica and Parfumo, they both listed that star anise, but nowhere listed. On Dior's website it said spices, but since both of the websites listed star anise, I listed it on here, and of course I also pick up that star anise note, which actually makes this a little more unique take on the original. I love star anise. I love anything that smells licoricey, and that star anise here at the top gives it that licoricey green vibe and makes me want to enjoy it more. The other thing is, this is a lot closer to the skin compared to this one. As I said, this was a very loud version of the Dior Sauvage Eau De Toilette. And this is the more restrained, a little more elegant, a little more classier version of the original fragrance of the Sauvage, the original Sauvage. This is kind of slowly starting to feel or sound like Chanel Bleu de Chanel with Chanel Bleu de Chanel Eau De Parfum. And now I'm anticipating Chanel's Bleu de Chanel X-Ray Pure Perfume fragrance that's supposed to be launching in the next month or so. Very, very exciting for that one. But going back to this is exactly what's starting to feel like. You know, they got the original release, which was the big, very, very successful launch, Dior Sauvage. There was a lot of people that love wearing it, and there's the haters out there for that one. For me, it's a toss-up. It's a boring scent, but very similar to, you know, things like the eccentric molecules fragrances like Molecule 1, Molecule 2, and 3, and 4. But to me, it was very, very close to the Molecule 2, which is ambroxan, as I said, with additional notes added, maybe like the bergamot, and then of course the Sichuan pepper, so it gave it a little spiciness to it. But mostly, it was pretty much the ambroxan, which is what they credit for the notes. But here on part 2, or I guess I would call it part 2, the flanker, the Eau De Parfum version, it is a little more elegant, as I was saying. It's more restrained, it's more refined, it's closer to the skin, it wears closer, lasts as long, if not a little longer than the original, but very, very close to the skin, and that whole star anise at the top with a little bit of lavender, and the vanilla, there's a little vanilla in here, not a lot, very, very faint touches of vanilla. Give it that elegant touch to the fragrance that I was kind of hoping for here in Sauvage, the original Sauvage. Now, the EDP is my preferred choice out of the two, but I'm still going to say this, they're both boring scents. If you like minimalistic fragrances, if you don't like complicated fragrances, if you don't like fragrances to get in your way, the Sauvages and the Bleu de Chanels are the ones to wear. I mean, sometimes it's a good thing because sometimes I get burnt out. My nose gets burnt out from too much heavy fragrances. And I do pull for things like this, but I never really pulled for the Sauvage. I usually pull for Chanel, Bleu de Chanel Eau De Parfum. But now, with this one, I quite like it a lot more than the original, even though as it's drying down, it becomes very much like this. You go through the journey of smelling the lavender, the vanilla, and of course at the top you're smelling the star anise, which gives it that extra unique touch to it that I wanted from the original Sauvage. So should you rush out and get this one? Okay, if you're a big fan of the original Sauvage, you're a big fan of fragrances and you collect, yes, go rush out and get it. If you prefer Eau De Parfum versions of fragrances over Eau De Toilettes, then you might also like this one better as well. It's a toss-up. Go smell it. They're very, very close. Just that uniqueness with the star anise and a little bit of the vanilla makes it a little more unique. Other than that, it's very, very similar. The fact that this projects a lot more than this, there's that difference in it. But, you know, sometimes you might be thinking this one is just too big, the big cloud. And you want something like this, and you know, you might like this one better, but go test them. I guess maybe go get samples, try them out together, and if you've never even tried Sauvage and you've thought, God, it's not even a great idea of a fragrance, then skip it. But maybe you want something fresh and easy to wear, sort of minimalistic, then go with the Eau De Parfum. Try it, and you might actually like it. And for me, as I was saying, these fragrances are not really like the typical fragrances I love to wear. I like heavier, stronger, more substantial, stronger notes, things like that. But when my nose has gotten burnt out, then this is the kind of stuff I pull for because, you know, sometimes you need to relax your nose and you don't want like intensity. Even though these are both pretty intense with the way they're created, the cloud is big, still as far as smell wise, they don't like overwhelm. So I pull for things like this. I mean, I tend to pull for Bleu de Chanel Eau De Parfum more than Sauvage or even the original Bleu de Chanel. But now I have a little extra one to actually pull for when I'm kind of getting bored of Bleu de Chanel Eau De Parfum. I guess I can go for the Sauvage Eau De Parfum. But personally, for me, I still prefer Chanel Bleu de Chanel Eau De Parfum over Sauvage Eau De Parfum. There's something about Bleu de Chanel in general that I prefer over Sauvage. Bleu de Chanel and the EDP mostly, and especially now I'm looking for the pure perfume, is got this creamy touch. It doesn't, so that creamy touch in Bleu de Chanel, especially in Eau De Parfum, gives it a more cozy vibe. So when my nose is burnt out and I need relaxation, something to wake up the senses where both of these will do is not what I'm looking for. I want something to relax me more than like wake up my senses. So the Sauvages kind of get pulled aside because they're actually like very invigorating fragrances, really kind of loud. Even though this is Eau De Parfum, it's more quaint and more relaxed, still this one comes off very big and invigorating compared to Bleu de Chanel, where it's just kind of creamy. Something about the Bleu de Chanel fragrances comes off creamy and more cozy, and I prefer those when I need a break from fragrances. But still, I prefer this one over the original Sauvage, and I'll pull for this more, but still my favorite is, I think, Bleu de Chanel Eau De Parfum. The other thing I want to say is very close to the skin here after a good hour and a half to 2 hours. Projection is done, it's close to the skin. And at that time, it becomes, I mean, once it becomes a skin scent or closer to the skin, it becomes more like the original Sauvage. So that's another thing I want to say. And I get a good, 6.5 hours with this one, something around there, maybe close to 7, pushing it. With the Eau De Toilette, I get about the same. I mean, a little bit, 6 to 7 hours. Both of these are about 6 to 7 hours. Just this one is closer, cozier. And that's it. Also, if you want to participate in the giveaway, I have 2 samples to give away. 3 ml samples of the new Sauvage Eau De Parfum. Would you like to win? Let me know what you like about the original Sauvage and what you hated about the original Sauvage. Please put that down so that I can qualify you. Also, please list your state as well. And make sure you're subscribed to qualify for this giveaway. Alright guys, what are your thoughts about the new Sauvage Eau De Parfum? Have you tried it? Are you looking forward to trying it? Do you hate the original Sauvage? Do you prefer Eau Sauvage from Dior? Let me know those so we can get a conversation started. Also, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.